What's going on, everybody? It's great to have you with me. The Minnesota Vikings absolutely destroy the New York Football Giants yesterday, 28-6. Oh, the Vikings are going to finish fourth in the North. Well, last I checked, the Vikings are tied for first. Last I checked, the Vikings are on pace to go 17-0. Okay. But jokes aside, wasn't that beautiful? For the first time, really, since 2019, the Vikings put their foot on somebody's throat and didn't let them up. I was at a local watering hole in St. Paul Park, Minnesota, with somebody very near and dear to me and her son. We had a great time. Good food, good beer, good deals. But the best deal was just watching Brian Flores draw up a game plan against the team that took a pass on him as their head coach, against Daniel Jones, who should be sending at least a quarter of that $80 million in guaranteed contract that he swindled the New York Giants out of after beating us in the playoffs in 2022. But my, oh my, that was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can sustain this. That's going to be the key. For one day and for 1 week, we can say, wow. And the thing that is most impressive to me is there have been times when the Vikings have had opportunities against teams that they were better, and they struggled in games like that. Struggled to put them away early, struggled to hang on to victories. We're all nail biting in the fourth quarter, thinking, how are the Vikings going to figure out a way to lose this game? Not yesterday. Not yesterday. I know it's the New York Giants. They're terrible. I know they're terrible. But hey, that's what you do, is you beat terrible teams and you beat them into submission. It was probably 10 minutes left in the second quarter, and New York Giants Stadium was already booing Daniel Jones. They didn't need Saquon Barkley. Saquon looked pretty good against the Packers Friday night, I'll tell you that. But we're going to have some fun here tonight. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button, wipe your feet at the door. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Vikings First and SKOL YouTube page, as well as their podcast feed on any of your favorite podcast aggregators. We already got some comments, so let's get to those here right away. We got Angel Dust in the building. What is going on? Good to see you. Cheers to you as well. I Want to Mock Bob is in the house. What's going on, Bob? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on by. We finally whooped up on somebody. You are correct, Cody. You are correct. Bob says we're going 17-0. Yes, that was the other beautiful thing about the game yesterday. In the third quarter, we got the SKOL chant going. It was loud. I watched the game back on DVR because, as I said, I was at a bar yesterday. And when Andrew Van Ginkel just absolutely hoodwinked Daniel Jones into throwing that little bubble screen pass and was right there to pick it off and just walked into the end zone, it was pretty daggone loud. It was pretty daggone loud. Hopefully, they'll be able to continue this. And by the way, yes, we are rooting for the San Francisco 49ers tonight, and I'll tell you why. You don't want the San Francisco 49ers to be coming off a loss. You want them coming off a win. Hopefully the Jets can make it a game, maybe take it to overtime like the Lions and the Rams did last night, beat each other up, because 49ers, they're still better than us. You know, everybody wants to say this is the start of the decline of the 49ers. They've been a great team for the last 5-6 years and all. That's all well and good. And the 49ers start out slow. That's all well and good. I don't want the 49ers coming into our house on Sunday, staring at 0-1, thinking we got to put our best foot forward to make sure we don't go 0-2. So, yes, we're pulling for the 49ers. And if nothing else, to give Aaron Rodgers an L. But that's just my opinion. We do shout outs to the people in the house when they come in. Share this with your friends. Share it on whatever aggregator you feel most comfortable with here, and let them know we want to get as many people in here as we can. But we also do what I call special shout outs at the start of my show. This is not any type of political grandstanding or anything other than just me saying thank you to a group of people that made things possible here. So it goes a little something like this. Want to say a big shout out to the active and veteran members of all of the branches of our armed forces who at one point or another sacrificed something, whether it be their time away from their families, their health, or maybe even their very lives, to give us the freedoms that we enjoy every day and sometimes take for granted. Special shout out to you for your service, and shout out to your family members who had to sacrifice time away from you. We also shout out the brave men and women who serve as our law enforcement, our firefighters, and EMS, who in times of tragedy are the ones that run towards the danger to help the rest of us get away from it. You potentially put your lives on the line every day when you go to work so that we can be safe. So thank you so very much for your hard work and sacrifice. And finally, to the doctors, nurses, frontline workers, home healthcare providers, surgeons, and anybody involved in the medical field, thank you so very much for always being there in our medical time of need. Your Super Bowl, as we talk about a team on Purple and Gold for days, is saying, I saved a life today. The men and women that I've shouted out in these groups oftentimes do not get enough thanks and oftentimes can work very thankless jobs. So at the start of my show, I'm just going to take 1 minute and say thank you to all. So thank you kindly for indulging me there. Let's get this back up here. All right. We're going to start off with Sam Darnold and the offense. My, oh my. Now, they only scored 21 points because the defense got a pick six, but they did what they needed to do. 99-yard drive. When was the last time we had a 99-yard drive? Oh, that's right. Brett Favre didn't do that. Kirk Cousins didn't do that. Case Keenum didn't do that. Sam Darnold did that. And not only did Sam Darnold do it, but they did not utilize Justin Jefferson all that much yesterday. And they still won the game and won the game convincingly. That's a good sign, ladies and gentlemen, that in a game where your best player, the best wide receiver on the planet, your go-to guy, did 4 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown. Okay. We still put up 21 offensive points. I like that. Love what I saw from Aaron Jones yesterday. Again, only 14 carries. Still got 94 yards in the touch there. And when he got the ball and then took it outside, I'm like, is he going to make it? Does he still got the juice? Oh, yeah, he does. How many carries did Alexander Madison have last year? Oh, yeah, 148. How many touchdowns he scored? Now, is it all Alexander Madison's fault? Maybe, maybe not. KOC finally stuck with the run. And yes, the game plan did allow him, and how the game flow went did allow him to stick with the run a little bit more than he has in previous years. 26 rushes to 24 passes. Is that the first time that we've actually run the ball more than we've passed the ball in the KOC era? I'm candidly not sure, because I certainly don't remember another time. But what I liked most about how balanced this offense was, yes, the offensive line, first drive, yeah, that Dexter Lawrence guy, he does what he does. Absolutely ate Ed Ingram's lunch. But the offensive line did a very good job post that sack. Sam Darnold, under pressure a couple times here and there, but in 24 dropbacks, I'll take what we saw yesterday. Now, are we going to be able to get away with that against San Francisco? Okay, that's going to be the key, is how much of what we saw yesterday is sustainable. But for right now, offensive line, not too bad. Couple of chintzy calls by the referees yesterday, and I get it. Around the league, there were so many penalties called yesterday and all throughout this weekend. It's not – I understand that sometimes they make point of emphasis in the NFL and tell the referees, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that. But that Christian Darrisaw holding penalty was absolutely bogus. He didn't hold him. He didn't grab him by his jersey and throw. He just threw him right to the ground. He bulldozed the guy, and yet we get called for a penalty. Garrett Bradbury, as much as I've railed on him over his tenure with the Vikings, he was solid yesterday. And after that first drive, they said, all right, we're not letting Dexter Lawrence wreck us again. Now, yes, he did cause that interception. The one blemish on Sam Bradford, on Sam Darnold's record yesterday. Ball, the wide receiver there, he's just got to knock the ball down. I understand you want to make a play. I understand you want to get a catch and get a first down and all that good stuff. But when you've got a duck coming at you like that, just jump up and knock the ball down. Having said that, Sam Darnold did what we needed Sam Darnold to do, which is just drive the car. Don't crash the car. Don't try to do too much. And I think he hit the first 12 or 13 passes. Funny how they put up the graphic. Sam Darnold has started off 13 for 13. Very next pass, incomplete. It's kind of like talking about a pitcher who has a no-hitter going. It just always seems to be that as soon as you bring it up, oh, there goes the streak. But having said that, very impressed with Sam Darnold yesterday. Spread the ball around. Speedy Jalen Naylor gets into the end zone. Beautiful play design by Kevin O'Connell. Absolutely beautiful play design. Had Jefferson not only just run motion, but run the backside motion where he's looping. I think they call that around the world motion, or at least that's what somebody said on the broadcast or on the radio. And everybody bit up on JJ, and Speedy Naylor was wide open. And that's kind of the things that we're going to need to do offensively. But this all starts with the fact that they stuck with the running game, and Aaron Jones still has a lot left in the tank. Aaron Jones, he's not going to be Robert Smith or Dalvin Cook in his prime, or in their primes, excuse me, once they get through the line and then bust one off for 70 yards and just completely leave everybody in the dust. But he only had, I think, 2 negative plays yesterday. And that's the biggest key. Stay out of second and long and third and long. First drive of the game, defense goes 3 and out. All right, sweet. First play, run for 0, sack, and then fumble. Come on, CJ Ham. I know he felt bad for it, but come on, dude. Come on. But after that, the Vikings offense was pretty much without reproach. Yes, would have liked them to do a little bit more in that drive right around the 2-minute warning, where Johnny Munt got tackled just shy of the first down marker. Because if they had able to sustain at least a first down and get some points out of that, they would have absolutely been able to open the game up. But again, you went 14-3 in the first half and 14-3 in the second half. So I like what I'm seeing. Now we got a better opponent next 2 weeks, against the San Francisco 49ers and the Houston Texans, both coming to the US Bank Stadium here. But we didn't really unleash Justin Jefferson yesterday. So 21 points. Okay, that's solid. A couple of turnovers. One, you just got to chalk that up to happenstance. Great play by the defense. Should have knocked the ball down, but my, Sam Darnold has, for 1 week, maybe not for the whole season, but for 1 week, has shown that the Vikings made the right choice. Moving on from old number 8, now number 18. You added 10 to your number and added a few more millions to your bank account. And what a terrible game he had yesterday. Last 5 drives, third down, check down, fumble, third down, check down, sack to end the game. Good luck with that, Kirk. But that, for right now anyway, Sam Darnold, you're the leader of this team. You were voted a captain. You were humbled by it and said, hey, thank you for it. Appreciate it. You had a great game yesterday. And now you're going to get to play in front of the home crowd. I know you had 1 drive in the preseason, but for real, next 2 games at home. Going into the season, I felt that if we were 2-3 going into the bye week, that's probably about as much as you can expect. I'm now saying we should be at least 3-2. We absolutely should be at least 3-2. We should beat Green Bay anyway. And now maybe we can beat the Jets as well. We'll see what they look like tonight here on Monday Night Football. But for right now, offensively, we got it going on. KOC, great game call. Sam Darnold, way to not do too much and way to hit the guys open when you had them. So I am ecstatic about how that offense looked. And like I said, once Justin Jefferson gets rolling, we might have something here. We might. All right, we got some comments. We got a few more people in the building. Let's say hello to everybody. Thank you guys for waiting for me as I went on my rant there. What's up, Raymond? Good to see you. Good to see you back. Good to be back. Good to be back. Yes, he did much better than Kirk. I'm going to do my best to not go too far down the Kirk Cousins rabbit hole. I'm not saying that I'm not going to talk about him at all, but I'm not going to make that the focal point here. What's up, Mike Sports Mike? What's going on, Mike? Good to see you. SKOL Mafia's in the house. What's going on, Mafia? Appreciate you guys. We got my guy Rap in the building. Day is bike. I think he meant back. What's going on, Rap? If you guys didn't have a chance to check out Rap's post-game show yesterday, it was absolute blast. I meant to text you, but I got really busy at work today, Rap. But you had it going on with those New York content creators. And shout out to those guys that took their medicine and came back. Now, one of the guys didn't show up on time. That was pretty funny that you guys are giving him crap for that. But great show yesterday. If you guys don't already subscribe to Rap over on Vocal Vike, hit him up there as well and check out his post game yesterday. It was absolutely, absolutely outstanding. Yes. Thank you, Mike. And stopping there. I'm going to get to the defense in a minute. I'll get to the defense in a minute. Want to get these shout outs here. Good to see you running game. Absolutely. And again, as I said a moment ago, it is good to see Kevin O'Connell stick to the running game. Now, how much of it was his pride? How much of it was, oh, I like to throw the ball because I'm from the Sean McVay tree. We throw. And how much of it was he didn't feel that he had the adequate pieces and the Vikings overvalued what they thought they had in Alexander Mattison last year? I don't know. Probably a combination of all of those things. But it was good to see the Vikings establish the run and stick with the run. Now, it was easy to do that, being that the Giants offense couldn't do diddly. It was easy to do that because you were in control of the game. So for 1 week, as I said, props to KOC. Now stick with that. Even if we're down by 10, stick with that run because that's what helps Sam Darnold out the most. But yeah, right after the game ended, they flipped it over to Atlanta versus the Steelers. Steelers had just kicked that field goal, and I'm just like, all right, it's put up or shut up time. Put up or shut up time for Kirky Boy in week 1, and he did absolutely nothing. But one thing I can tell you, I haven't watched the game. I only took a brief look at the stats line, but somehow, some way, there'll be people out there that say it wasn't Kirk's fault because it never is. It never is. What's going on, Skull Zone? Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you. All right, I think I'm caught up here with you guys. Keep them coming, though. Keep them coming here. Oh, no, we got a couple more. We got the barber in the house. What's going on, Skull for Life Barber? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on by. We got Two-Tone Tony. What's going on, Tony? Good to see you. Thank you so much, as always. Thank you guys so much. It's been a minute since I've graced the airwaves, but the season's back on, and it feels good to be back. It feels good to be back. Yesterday, like I said, and if you didn't catch me at the beginning of the show, I was at a local watering hole in St. Paul Park, the town over from where I grew up, with somebody very dear and special to me and her son, and it was an absolute blast. Good deals, good service, but obviously the best part of it was the Vikings actually showed out, and they actually stepped on somebody's throat for a change. Got stream on Golden Corral. Shout out Skull Zone, who is got the stream while he is out at the Golden Corral. That is my daughter's favorite restaurant to eat at, and it's her birthday on Thursday, and we're going out to dinner tomorrow with the gal, her sons, and my parents. She hasn't told us yet where she wants to go. She might say Texas Roadhouse, but then again, if it comes across her mind, she might say Golden Corral too. Who the heck knows? She absolutely loves that place. It's a great place to eat. I like Golden Corral on the weekends. I like their breakfast buffet. I'm not saying that their lunch and dinner is bad. I'm not saying that at all. It's good, but I go for the breakfast buffet. Okay, I'm about to let you guys in on my little secret. On Saturdays and Sundays, they have breakfast buffet from 8 to 11. I usually go around 10:40, so I still get in for the breakfast and get in for the lunch as well. But don't tell them I said that out loud. All righty. Thank you guys for the comments. Keep them coming here, and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. All right. Defensively, finally, we have a defensive coordinator that knows what he's doing. Haven't had one of those since about 2019, 2020, when Mike Zimmer was still in his prime before he fell off the cliff. Sayonara, Ed Donishow. Finally, we have a defensive coordinator that knows what he's doing. And last year he knew what he was doing, but he didn't have the right pieces. This year we have both, the defensive coordinator and the pieces that allow him to do what he wants to do. Everything about this defense was on point yesterday. The defensive line brought pressure on Aaron Jones all day long. He had happy feet. He was the guy who was seeing ghosts. Okay. We want to talk about Sam Darnold and his line about seeing ghosts and all that good stuff. Daniel Jones yesterday, beg your pardon, 186 yards, 2 interceptions on 42 passes. Okay. And he had guys in his face early, and he had guys in his face often. And if we can do that on a consistent basis, we are in business. I'm just looking up the stats here now, so I beg your pardon. I had it a moment ago, and then, of course, the computer decides to refresh on me at the inopportune time, but I'll get that here for a second in a moment here. But everything about the defense was on point yesterday. The pass rush, the linebackers, the secondary, absolutely everything. Again, it's Daniel Jones. He's a Division III quarterback at best. Okay, that's probably a little harsh, but he was sacked 5 times. Thank you, computer, for finally getting back to what I want to. 5 times the Vikings sacked him yesterday. Now, we're not going to get 5 sacks a game. We get 3 sacks a game, that'd be great. But if you can consistently pressure the quarterback like that, then all of a sudden, this defense, I had said that I would be happy with the defense if they got to be in the top 10, and particularly top 10 in scoring. I know it's one game against Daniel Jones, and a lot of people talking about, hey, could they be a top 5 defense? Let's slow our roll a little bit. Let's enjoy the victory, but let's slow down a little bit. Let's see him do it against a better team. Let's see him do it over the next 4 weeks, and let's win 3 out of the next 4 games against the gauntlet of quarterbacks in Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud, whoever the Packers is. And it's not much of a gauntlet, even if Jordan Love does come back, and then Aaron Rodgers. Okay, let's see y'all do it then. But I could say I could basically go through the list of all the defensive players who you'd give a game ball to. Dallas Turner, rookie, gets a first sack in his first game. Andrew Van Ginkel, aside from the pick six, that guy was all over the place. 4 total tackles, the sack, interception, touchdown. Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace, outside of Ivan Pace's little miscue on special teams, and old reliable Harrison Smith got an interception yesterday too. The Vikings defense is going to give up yards. And I've said that for a year and a half, and I said that in the offseason. I am not concerned if they are top 10 in yards or top 5 in yards. I am concerned if they are top 5 or top 10 in scoring. And for one weekend, at the very least, one weekend, they looked dang good. Brian Flores brought blitz packages from all over the place. And as much as we love Danielle Hunter, and he's going to go in the Ring of Honor, it was the right move to move on from him and get 2 or 3 other pieces that Flores can utilize in a total team effort a little bit better than just relying on 1.5 pass rushers. Harrison Phillips, unsung hero, the leader of the defensive line, just stuff in the middle. I love that he looped around on that third down and knocked that pass down. It would have been absolutely hilarious if he would have been able to hang on to the ball and take that for an interception to the house. But everything about that defense yesterday looked absolutely outstanding. And I'm just here to enjoy what I saw, and hopefully it can be sustained. Now, again, you're going to run into quarterbacks. They're going to be able to take apart those blitz packages a little bit better. Patrick Jones was another one yesterday, him with 2 sacks. I don't know how sustainable that is. In fact, Patrick Jones on one of his sacks had a clear rush lane to Daniel Jones and then swung and missed on him. See, you don't always want to be running full speed when you have the ball or when you're chasing the ball because you can be a little bit out of control. But he stuck with it. He missed him, got back, and the Vikings secondary had locked down the receivers that Daniel Jones just stood there with nothing to throw to and took the sack there again anyway. Jonathan Bullard also with a sack yesterday. Bottom line, defensively, we didn't hear a whole lot from the cornerbacks. Yeah, Byron Murphy had tackles because there were some completions. Harrison Smith was second on the team with 7 total tackles, but it wasn't like you heard the Giants wide receivers or the receiving core in general. I mean, Malik Neighbors, their rookie, solid, 5 for 66, but that was it. That was absolutely it. It wasn't like there was a cornerback that was getting picked on left and right. Yeah, they completed a couple passes here and there, but gave up yards, but clamped down in the red zone. Held them to 2 field goals, one of which, again, was set up by the C.J. Ham fumble at the beginning of the game. So hard to put the defense, hard to put those 3 points on the defense to begin with. But for the rest of the game, they only give up 3 points. I know, Daniel Jones, Giants are terrible. Doesn't matter. I will say this. There have been other times. How many times did we see backup quarterbacks or bad quarterbacks in general take the Vikings defense apart? Not yesterday. Like I said, Brian Flores, he had a little something extra for those guys. He had a little something extra for the team that was going to interview him or did interview him and turned him down for the job. And a little something extra for everybody around the league to say, hey, everybody's selling the Vikings short. They're going to be 4th in the North. Their defense didn't get any better and they were bad last year. Okay, let's talk about last year's defense. New defensive coordinator, trying to get things figured out. The first 5-6 games, they were starting to figure things out. Middle of the season looked really good, but it was a lot of smoke and mirrors by Brian Flores. So it's eventually got caught up because he didn't have a whole lot to work with. They couldn't generate pressure with 4, so he had to bring it. They can generate pressure with 4. Now, again, how sustainable? All I know is on a lot of those third down plays, they had 4 pass rushers on the defensive line. And we're never sure which one was coming. On that interception by Andrew Van Ginkel that went for a touchdown, Ivan Pace was lined up over the center, and it looked like he was going to be a blitz guy, and that's what Daniel Jones' read was. And then at the last moment, he backed out, thinking that he might be coming on a blitz or that he and Van Ginkel were going to rotate. Well, yeah, Van Ginkel rotated exactly where Daniel Jones was meant. They so baited him into that interception. It was so quick that even the announcers are like, whoa, touchdown. Whoa, what a play. It was a brilliant play. And this defense, as I said, is not, I'm still not going to put them into the Zim Reapers category after 1 week. And I'm certainly not going to put them into the category of the 2000 Ravens or the 85 Bears. But I think this defense will be solid. They'll give up yards, and against better teams, they'll give up some points, which means the offense is going to have to score a little bit more than 21 if we're going to be in games to try to win these games. But they're not going to be a reason that you lose the game. They're going to keep you in games against anybody. Got a heck of a gauntlet coming out of the bye week when you're talking about Detroit, and then 4 days later going to LA. What a game that was. We'll talk about that a little bit here in the NFC North Roundup here in the next segment. But for right now, Brian Flores just said, hey, I'm here, and us Vikings are here. All of those offseason acquisitions. Oh, what are the Vikings going to do for a pass rush? They got rid of the only guy they had in Danielle Hunter. Yeah, they got rid of Danielle Hunter, and they brought in 3 guys brought in 2 guys and then drafted one of them and said, okay, we're going to hope to get the same amount of production from these 3 guys, if not more. But again, it's about not putting all of your eggs in one basket. It's about being able to scheme the entire defense to play well. And Brian Flores was on point yesterday, as was the entire defense. Come on in next week, Debo. Come on in next week, Kittle, Brock. We beat those guys last year. Yeah, they didn't have Debo, but we didn't have Jefferson, so we'll call that a wash. And it's funny. I try not to get too enthusiastic over one game. And everybody says, oh, we can be the 49ers. We beat them last year. Well, okay, it was Monday Night Football. They didn't have Debo. And their offense only put up, they put up 16 points. But it's not like we beat them, like we beat the Giants yesterday, like we beat them by 2 scores. We beat them by 5 points with a game-sealing interception with less than a minute left. So let's not act like we dominated that team. It's going to be interesting. And we'll talk more a little bit about it later in the week. But for right now, you showed the world something, that you're not just going to roll over. Now show the world again that you can do it against a better quarterback. And then the Vikings won't be underestimated. Actually, they probably will be. We're always underestimated at the beginning of the year when nothing's expected of us. And that's fine. Go on and keep doubting us. I like it better when there are no expectations and when the world doubts us, because then we surprise some people. So, man, Brian Flores just absolutely killed Daniel Jones. Like I said, he probably had something for the Giants because they didn't hire him, and he probably also had something for the previous defensive coordinator to say, I'm not letting this chump that is Jones run through my defense. Yeah, 6 points, 3 of them gifted to you. 3 points, ostensibly. And our defense scored. So realistically, our defense was a net 0. They gave up 6 points and they scored 6 points. So I think we could live with that. All right, what do you guys got for me? Who else is in here that I haven't said hello to? We got D-Will in the building. What's going on, D-Will? Good to see you. I'm chilling, man. Thanks for coming. SKOL Zone had to bring up he who shall not be named. Where's Sosa been hiding? Remember that dude used to ride for Cousins? Yeah, well, it's funny. He tried to backtrack a little bit and say, oh, yeah, you guys wanted to get rid of Kirk. Well, be careful what you wish for. I thought the franchise was going to fold if we got rid of Kirk. I thought Justin Jefferson wasn't going to sign here if we got rid of Kirk. Okay. And again, this is not to rail on Kirk and say that he's a bad quarterback. He's not. He just is what he is. He's just a guy that is solid. He's going to put up yards and ultimately has a ceiling of the divisional round of the playoffs. And at some point, that's not enough. So time to move on. But yeah, I don't know where he's at. And frankly, I don't care. Yeah, him and Joe can cry about how it wasn't Kirk's fault and all that good stuff. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Thank you kindly. Appreciate you. Yes, thank you, Raymond. That's one of the things I meant to say in the segment. Good quote. Good comment from Raymond here. The defense is faster, the fast and the furious. Yes, they've got speed all over the place. Now, they had some tackling issues in the preseason and didn't see a whole lot of tackling issues yesterday, not a lot of busted tackles. And, oh, well, he caught the ball for 7 yards and ended up going for 15 because of a missed tackle. So at the end of the day, for 1 week, we look good. And I'm loving it. What do we think of a Vikings Packers? But SKOL Zone, clarify what your question is for me there. Clarify what your question is. Shout out JDT93. What's going on? Good to see you back. Good to be back. Good to see you guys here. I appreciate it. The 99 drive wouldn't have happened without that run game helping out. Absolutely, Barber. Great comment here from SKOL for Life. That 99-yard drive would not have happened without a run game helping it. Absolutely. Shout out to one of the queens, Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? Good to see you. San Fran hasn't won in Minnesota since 1992. That is correct. As of right now, I'm probably leaning because I got to be honest. You guys know me. I'm not a homer, and I can be, sometimes overly objective when it comes to my analysis. Right now, I'm still leaning San Francisco, but I will say this. My thoughts on us beating San Francisco are 1,000% higher than what they were even 36 hours ago. And again, we'll see what they do tonight. If you weren't here at the start of the show, I said, yes, we're rooting for San Francisco tonight. We don't want them coming into our building 1-0 facing 0-1 facing 0-2. We want them to be coming off a victory, coming off a short week. Again, hopefully the Jets can beat them up a little bit. But yeah, we're pulling for the 49ers because we don't want them to be desperate. And we want to see Aaron Rodgers take the L. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Am I on something or am I on something for saying that we want the 49ers to win tonight? Put it in the chat. You want the 49ers or the Jets to win tonight? You tell me. Everybody's saying, oh, shout out G-Mac. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you. Thank you so kindly for joining. Appreciate you so very, very much. Skull Zone's already put his prediction, a 14-point victory, 31-17. I would take that. Holy cow. We would not be under the radar anymore if we beat the 49ers 31-17. I'll take it. Absolutely. We always play better when we're doubted. You are correct, JDT. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. All right, comment from Angel Dust. I'm getting the strange feeling this is going to be an underwhelming season 2 for Jordan Addison. All right, let's talk about Jordan Addison. We went off yesterday with a little bit of an ankle injury. It was not the same ankle that he hurt in the preseason, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know if it's worse to have injured the same ankle or if it's better to have both of your ankles be a little bit hurt, but they took him out of the game. The game was well in hand, so there's like, all right, we're not going to play him anymore. I don't know if it's going to be underwhelming insofar as it depends on what is needed at the time. Yes, Jordan Addison might be facing a suspension due to his off the field issues, might be missing some time for some injuries. I don't know that I'm ready to say underwhelming. I don't think it's going to be. Now, you got to remember, too, last year, his season ended up being what it was because he was the number one because Justin Jefferson was gone. So as long as Justin Jefferson is still on this team and still playing, not on this team per se, but is healthy and is playing, then your expectation level for Jordan Addison doesn't need to be what it was. So, but I see where you're going with it. Yes, if he continues to have these ankle injuries and if he misses time to the off the field stuff, yeah, his production might be less than what it was last year. But I'm not ready to say underwhelming just yet. But good take. Caleb Williams didn't throw for over 100. I'm gonna get there. Giants showed up to play Donna Shell and met Flores. Comment of the night so far, Sarah. There you go. Kirk threw for short of first down with the game on the line. Surprise. Not so much. I knew Sarah would get the shots in. I knew there was absolutely no way that Sarah was going to do. Kirk lost to a team that scored no touchdowns. Facts. Can't say you're wrong because you're not. Ooh, like me, diehard Packer fan, having Packer school and prediction show going on. I'm just wondering what the school family would think of that. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'll get back to you on that. I'll have to think about that. Shout out to my guy T-Bass. What's going on? Sarah, you got to really get over Kirk. Who cares with him? There's something, and I said this earlier, T-Bass. I said I'm only going to do a little bit on him. I'm not going to rag too much on it, but he looked terrible yesterday. And the only thing I'm concerned, this is the last thing I'm going to say about Kirk for now. I just hope that they haven't benched him by the time they come to US Bank Stadium because I want to play him. And I'm not saying that I'm afraid of Michael Penix Jr. I don't know if you guys saw the live show that the group did during the draft, because I saw on Twitter that Atlanta had taken Penix before it came across, and I was like, whoa, they just signed him for $180 million and drafted his replacement. They don't even trust him. But I'm not afraid of Michael Penix and thinking, oh, well, if Penix plays, we're going to have a worse opportunity to win that game. No, I just want to play Kirk. Just want to beat him once. And then forget about it. Skull Zone says, go Jets. Okay. Sarah says, no, I'm talking my talk. Oh, there you go. Shout out Dave L. What's going on? Haven't had a blowout in 5 years. Kirk played to the competition for 5 years. It's not rocket science. Yes, you are correct. You know, it's funny. People wanted to say it was all Mike Zimmer that was playing to the competition and always wanting to play it close. And then people say, well, KOC always wants to play it close. Okay. It seems to have gone with him. And at the end of it, yes, we had the perfect opponent to break the streak of beating some team by 3 scores or more for the first time since 2019. But I can't argue with you, Dave L. I really can't argue with you. G-Mac says, I'm hoping for a 0-0 tie. Okay. I could see that isn't going to happen. Shout out Dylan. What's going on? Great to see you. Great to see you as well. Thank you so much. Skull Zolden says 49ers driving down the field with a minute to go. Purdy throws a pick six to Ivan Pace Jr. Okay. All right. He says we're going to be up 7 and get a pick six to seal the deal. I like it. I'll take it. Both sides of the ball played like they wanted to win, didn't play like the soft dog. Yes, you are correct, Barber. You are correct. Sorry, Sarah T. Bass just took you for quote of the night. Comment from T. Bass. I really think what I really like about the Vikings yesterday is they didn't force the ball to Justin Jefferson. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, granted, you were allowed to play that way. You're playing against a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans in a terrible stadium. Copyright the comment, man. And so you could get away with it. But to that point, as I said earlier, he only threw 4 catches to Justin Jefferson yesterday. Yeah, got in the end zone. Okay. Only had 6 targets. Yeah. If you can get that run game to sustain that way where you don't have to force 15 targets to Justin Jefferson, absolutely. Now, that isn't to say that there isn't a nice balance in the middle between saying, well, I don't want to force it to him 15 times and not be doing anything else and being content with 6 targets to Justin Jefferson. Yeah, you got away with it yesterday against a bad team. But yes, we barely utilized Justin Jefferson yesterday. He was a decoy. Before Addison got hurt, he got a few catches. Speedy Naylor got into the end zone. We talked about that. I mean, again, Justin Jefferson led the team in receptions with 4. Let that sink in. Our offense put up 21 points. We won this game by 22, and Justin Jefferson had 4 catches and led the team. So, shout out, Love. What's going on? If you guys don't already subscribe to the Vikings First and SKOL YouTube page, most definitely subscribe there, as well as on the podcast feed, where you'll get some more of my content there as well. I'm going to be wrapping this here in a couple minutes after the Around the NFC North. So go on over and join the Real 4-0 show over on Vikings First and SKOL. I'll put the link in the chat before we go. Shout out Adam. Adam, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Defense looked good yesterday. Really happy. Yes. Hopefully. Got to bail for 4-0. Yeah, I'll send them all over your way. You're probably not here anymore because it's a couple minutes away. But there you go. Get a good center, and Ingram instantly gets a lot better. I'll say this. I said it earlier. Bradbury was pretty good. And it takes a lot for me to give Garrett Bradbury praise. But after that first drive, they were pretty solid. They said, okay, we're putting these 2 guys on Lawrence, and we'll let the rest happen the way it is. Shout out Cody again. Watch Aaron Rodgers and the Jets stomp the 49ers. Okay. Shout out Caesar. What's going on? Wow, not paying over $40 million for a mid-quarterback paid off. Caesar's got the line of the night. Sorry, T-Bass. Shout out Vaughn. What's going on? Good to see you. When you run the ball and have a different attitude to the team, absolutely. Yes, I'll drop the link before I go. I'll drop the link into it before I go. Okay. I forgot to do banners. I had a crazy day at work in the afternoon. I was going to take my lunch break, and then I never got to take it because, well, a little few things happened here. But let's go around the NFC North to wrap this up here tonight, and then we'll get up out of here. And then, like I said, go on over to Vikings First and SKOL and join Tyler and Dave. The Detroit Lions squeaked out a victory in overtime. The Rams had that game. Stafford interception in the end zone at the end of the first half. Had opportunities to put that game away. When they scored that touchdown with about 2.5 minutes left, I'm like, nah, Detroit's going to tie or win this game. And when they won the coin toss in overtime, I said, all right, Detroit's done playing with them. So that's all right, though. Detroit didn't look as dominant as they did to their run to the NFC Championship game where they were up at halftime and then blew it pretty much like the Vikings do. So I'm not ready to say yet. I still have Detroit as the favorites, but they didn't look invincible. And if our defense can play the way it did, yeah, we can compete with those guys. We absolutely compete with those guys. But shout out to the Detroit Lions. Congratulations. You beat Matt Stafford. I mean, again, they had their night against Stafford again in the regular season, kind of like we're hoping we get our night or our day against Kirk Cousins. But yeah, it was kind of 2 heavy, high-powered offenses only putting up 46 points and having to go to overtime to get to 46. Yeah, they were just kind of mediocre yesterday. But there wasn't a lot of dominance around the league whatsoever. But you know what? Detroit rightfully favored to win this division. But, you know, they might have taken a step back. Now, the Chicago Bears. Seriously? The Tennessee Titans, how do you let that game get away from you? How? Here's what I'm going to say. The Tennessee Titans were up 17-0 in the middle of the second quarter, 17-3 at half. Okay? And as soon as they blocked that touchdown, we saw the highlight in the bar. And I'm like, okay, that just made it 17. Chicago's going to win this game. And they did. Tennessee's terrible. Caleb Williams looked thoroughly mediocre. And again, it's his first game. He's a rookie. I'm not ready to say that, oh, he's a bust. I'm just willing to say, oh, yeah, 14 for 29 for 93 yards. got sacked twice. Yeah, I don't fear the Chicago offense. Again, the Chicago defense is always going to be good, and they always seem to have a horseshoe coming up with big plays on special teams or defense. They'll be a team to be reckoned with, but I still think that the Vikings will finish ahead of them. And I don't fear the Chicago Bears. Everybody want to say, oh, Caleb Williams is going to make them some spectacular offense and that they're going to be competing for the North. No, they're not. No, they're not. Will Levis is mediocre at best. Congratulations. You beat the Titans at home after being down 17-0. Couple of big plays, but whatever. However, we saved the best for last. The Green Bay Packers lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let me say this. I'm not going to revel and jump and dance on somebody's grave. Jordan Love getting injured is going to miss 3 to 6 weeks. So he might be available for the Vikings game. We don't know. That's a couple weeks away, so we won't look too far ahead. I know some people can't stomach the idea of being happy that the Philadelphia Eagles won because, you know, we don't. I got nothing against the Eagles, the team. I got something against their fans. Their fan base is not exactly polite, but bottom line, two favorite teams are the Vikings and whoever's playing the Packers, even if it's the Eagles or the Bears or the Cowboys, always cheering for Packer losses. So it was unfortunate. Would have rather seen the Packers lose with Jordan Love healthy. And if I'm being honest with you, I would rather that Jordan Love be the starting quarterback because I want to beat the Packers at full strength in their house. But if Malik Willis is still playing or if they decide to bring in Ryan Tannehill, whatever. I already had that game as a win on my schedule. Now I have it as an absolute win, and I'm always disappointed if we lose to the Packers, but I'm going to be thoroughly disappointed, particularly with the way the Vikings played yesterday, if we don't show out and take the Packers out in Lambeau Field. So that's your NFC North roundup. Everybody won except the Packers. It's always a good weekend when the Vikings lose. It's a great weekend when it's always a good weekend when the Vikings win and the Packers lose. It's an even slightly better weekend when the Packers are the only team in the division that didn't win. Okay, no more reveling in that. The Packers are going to be fine. They're all in panic mode because they don't know how to handle instability at the quarterback position because for 30 some odd years they had stability at the quarterback position. So I get into work today and my Packer fan, the one Packer fan friend was just like, seriously? I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm like, same thing the Vikings did last year. You go to your backup until your guy gets back. At least your guy didn't get injured for the whole season. He was going on and on about how the whole season's trash now. Why? Because you lost your starter for 3 to 6 weeks. Imagine losing your starter for the entire season. Yes, I know you're spoiled for quarterback play. Come on. But yeah, for 1 week. How's that bottom of the division taste, Green Bay? How does it taste? All right, a few more comments and then we'll get up out of here. And I got to get the link over to the Vikings First and SKOL page here for you guys. And I'll have that for you here. So go on and check out my guys, Tyler and Dave here. But I'll get through your comments here. Oh, got that. I'm going to put that one up one more time. See, I'll put that one up one more time for you. Without Aaron Donald, cannot stop the run at all. Yeah, that's true. Cousins gets Zimmer's defense this season. Yeah. Yes. As much as I'm looking forward to playing the Falcons and hopefully with Kirk Cousins still as their quarterback, I cannot wait to see the Falcons play Dallas. Dallas looked really, really good. Now Cleveland with Deshaun Watson just looked absolutely terrible. Deshaun Watson's done. He's absolutely done. They just redid his contract and pushed more money into future years and has got all kinds of void years on it. What the heck were the Cleveland Browns thinking? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Shout out, Julian. What's going on? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys. The Lions finally got me to acknowledge him as a serious that they won games they would have historically lost. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Shout out, Skull Zone. Absolutely, absolutely true. Tell me you're lying, T-Bass. T-Bass, are you making that up? Seriously? I'm looking this up right now. I'm sorry, guys. He just said, no. You got to be kidding me. All right. Shout out to the greatest voice actor of all time. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. You don't get to have Darth Vader and Mufasa on your resume and not be called the greatest voice actor in the history of mankind. James Earl Jones. Dang. All right. I got to finish this. I'm totally distracted there now, but welcome back. I appreciate you, Ricky. Shout out, Ricky. What's going on? That Bear game reminded me of the Bears of all the luckiest team in the NFL. You are correct. You are correct, Dave. All right, y'all. Here is the link. Go on over to the Vikings First and SKOL YouTube page and check out Dave and Tyler. And if you haven't already done so, hit the like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button if not already subscribed. And subscribe to the Vikings First and SKOL podcast feed on your favorite podcast aggregator. You will catch some highlights of this episode as well as some online content only all throughout the season. That episode will drop either Friday or Saturday of this week, depending on when Dave wants to put that up there with the rest of the shows they got going on there. Want to thank you guys again for joining me. It's a pleasure as always. The Vikings are 1-0. They destroy the Giants, and they look great doing it. And now we have some thoughts of this season, not just being a wash, not just being a, hey, we're just going to see what we got. No, we got something. We got something. Thank you kindly, as always, for joining me. SKOL to the next episode. You have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to say go 49ers, but at the end of the day, enjoy this evening's Monday Night Football game, and we'll see you on the flip side. Good night.